Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft Season 6. Oh yeah, this season is off to an amazing start. Just want to say thank you to all of you for supporting the series. It is going really great. You know, the numbers are through the roof, and when the numbers are through the roof, it usually means that the people watching it are having a good time. So that's awesome, of course. And we're over here at a familiar site. It is the Ocean Monument, the double Ocean Monument. We got two of them stacked together, which is kind of crazy. The reason that we're over here, though, is not actually to to farm guardians or to do anything really with the temple. It's to do some mining underground. You see, this is going to be the future home of me, and I'm going to build farms here, mob farms. And one of the things you need to do when you got your mob farms is light up all of the caves so that they will spawn in your farms and not in the caves. Now, I'm going to start up a branch mine, hopefully find some caves, but basically start digging in this area. And one of the reasons that I want to do that is, well, exactly what I just described, right? The other reason is because of Mr. Mumbo Jumbo, who in his videos, fortune pick, I need that. Classic thing that Mumbo does is his hour-long mining sessions, and I thought, do you know what? Well, let's just start this episode off by doing one ourselves. I'm going to start a branch mine. I'm going to time how long I'm in there for, an hour exactly, and then we can come back and we can check out all the goodies that we get. So I've got my fortune free pick here sorted out. What I don't have is a decent pick for digging right now. As you can see, the two that I have are getting pretty worn out. So I need to grab some diamonds and an anvil, which I think is in here, and repair my pick, and then we're all ready to go. If you watch the other hermits, you may have heard moans and groans about not being able to find diamonds. I feel like I got quite fortunate to get 23 because I only found 2 diamond ore veins. And I spent about half an hour in a mine shaft taking that on, and I got an ore vein in there. And then I spent about half an hour branch mining, got an ore vein from that. So it does feel a little bit lower than usual, but we have got a reasonable amount of goods here. And right at the end I found a massive open ravine and cave system with loads of iron and lapis everywhere, but we'll have to explore that another time. This is a decent amount of materials, and I got some diamonds, which is exactly what I was after. So my friends, it is time for the construction of the turtle farm to begin. But first of all, we are going to work on the exteriors of our turtle farm, which is the building it will reside inside of. And I have reserved this plot space right here. If you watched the last episode, you remember we had a little bit of a problem with the first area that we kind of reserved. So now we're moving over into this spot, and I like this because there is this hilly area behind it, which I feel like kind of creates a natural space for building in front of it. So the front side of our building is going to be this bit over here. We can put a path going through this area, connect it up to some other stuff, and people can build around here as well. I think it's going to work out pretty cool. The first thing that we've got to do though is collect lots and lots of gravel, as well as other materials as well. Our build is going to use gravel as a main block. I'm really excited for this because I was looking at all the different textures and trying to find a block that I think has been underutilized in the industrial style, and I think gravel is it. Gravel may actually be a really cool building block, and we're going to be using it for our roof, which is going to give us a very unique look for our building, and unique is certainly what I want to go for. But I'm scanning the area here because sometimes you get large gravel patches in these extreme hills, and I can't see any right now. I was hoping we would stumble into one fairly easily. It's usually where the terrain kind of flattens out a little bit, like in front of us, that you might find a gravel patch, and there is no sign of one nearby. Alright, this is what I'm talking about. We've got one right here. We've got another one there. That one looks like a small one. There's one behind me, another little patch there. It's quite frequent around this area, right? If we just hop up the hill, I'm guessing we're going to be able to see a few of them here. It does really blend in with the stone though sometimes. Can't actually see any more over here. Anyway, they are rare. They are quite common. So anyway, let's dig this stuff up. We're going to need a lot of stacks. Man, the terrain in this area is just crazy. It's kind of exciting exploring it. And then I stumble across a whole bunch of pillars, and I have absolutely no idea who it is who is settling in this area. But it looks like they've got something big planned. There is also something down there. Let's go check it out together. Future home of Concorp. No trespassing, private property. The Concorp, I mean, that just sounds like it's a con to begin with. What do you guys know who the Concorp are? I'm pretty sure it's Scar and Cub fan. I'm not sure if they're good guys or bad guys, you know. Concorp, it doesn't sound particularly friendly, does it? By the way, peeps, we should do a little bit of map on the screen so you know what's going on. I've just been walking through this area over here, so that's kind of like the industrial area. Then this is where the Concorp is located, and we are now in the fantasy area, and there are two parts of the fantasy area. There is like a plains and forest flower, and then there is this extreme hills part over to the side. So the next material is the mushrooms, and this is going to be a slow process, and then I just grew this monstrosity. I wish I could grow that every single time, because if you look at the amount of these blocks right here, normally we don't get a lot of them for each tree grown. Yes, it's not technically a tree, is it? It's a mushroom. Oh, this process is so slow. You have to do so much work to get just a few blocks. Let's grow another one together. I've got a little bit of an idea going through my mind now. I'm starting to think about what things can we use to speed up the process of farming this. Now, this stuff isn't very blast resistant. If we were to drop a TNT right there, I wonder if it would take out all the blocks. Yes! Wow! Okay, well, I don't know if TNT duping works in 1.13 anymore, but we used to have TNT duping machines, and that would be kind of perfect, right? You could do this, then perhaps on a timer you've got enough time to go ahead and break those blocks, pick them up down below, and up above, the machine sets off a TNT. Oh, do we also get the mushroom drops from blowing it up? Yes! Oh wow, that would be a really good idea for a farm, wouldn't it? I have been up to something evil in my test world. Oh, I have figured something out, and we are going to need some slime blocks to make this happen. Oh yeah, so what does that do? There's a pressure plate there, I don't know what it does. We need a total of 6 slime blocks, so how much does one stack make? 7! Well, there we go. 1 diamond for you, Mumbo. Thank you for your services. They will come in very, very useful. Oh my days, we are growing these mushrooms and we're destroying the blocks with a TNT duper that I came up with myself. Unbelievable. Unfortunately, it doesn't always land directly in the middle. Oh, and I totally forgot to get the blocks. So I got 1 from that. Jeez, I'm too excited for this. Look at that right there. We definitely don't want you, because the TNT might fall through. Look, and the TNT can destroy the redstone wire as well. Clearly, I haven't figured out all of the ins and outs of this, and I'm getting too excited. Let's do it one more time. What I should really do is probably press that button the second that the mushroom grows. Bam! There it goes again. Wow. It did one time destroy the mycelium down here as well, which kind of concerns me. And it looks like it's destroying some of the redstone down at the bottom. Let's go and shield it with a little bit of cobblestone here. That might interfere with the growth of the mushroom. Right. Please grow. Then we destroy those blocks, and I should have pressed the button first. Kaboom. Awesome. Kind of leaves me with a little bit of work to do, right? Maybe what I should have done is built 2 of those dupers and had them drop down on either side, and then it definitely would have destroyed all of it. Anyway, this is the proper way to use it. Press the button, then do that. We still have to wait a little bit. You know, maybe I should press the button before I've even grown the tree. That could be quite catastrophic. Let's give it a try. Except the mycelium is gone. Oh. This is going to go horribly wrong, isn't it? Because that TNT is going to fall down immediately. Did it catch it? I think it caught it. Oh no, I've got to get these blocks. Yes. Amazing. Oh, and it destroyed every other single block as well. Overall, I'd say this thing is a little bit slow, but it's a little bit quicker than what we were doing before. And it involves TNT, which is a lot of fun. And I can see a way for us to really turn this into a proper farm that works a lot faster. It would just require a lot of time designing, a lot of redstone. Yeah, there are some problems here, but also solutions. I think the biggest problem for me is this mycelium block here. Everything else seems shieldable. I had a dispenser blow up once, mind you. So maybe they are kind of vulnerable there as well. But anyway, I think there are other ways to get this done. One of the big problems is this block right here. If you raise it up any higher, all of a sudden it takes a lot of bone meal to get this thing to grow. Or Or better yet, I haven't seen it grow with putting a lot of bone meal on it. But when it's at that height, these things grow just fine. Anyway, this is not what we're here to do this episode. We could certainly look into this another time, but right now we want to focus on our turtle farm. And first of all is, of course, the building that goes around it, and I am excited to put this shell on the turtle farm, you get it? Because this is our first proper building, okay? We've done a little playful thing with the giant turtle, and we've done some organics around it, but now we are developing our own structure, and we are building this elevated off of the ground. The reason why? Because I've been watching Mr. Good Times with Scar, the master builder who plays here on the server, and learning some tips and tricks, and one of his was to build things elevated off the ground to begin with, and to work on the externals around it after. And already I find myself having some ideas about how we can make the entrance to this thing really cool by shaping the terrain around it after we're done building it. I also happen to have miscounted. This is where the plot ends and not over here. But with this space, I think what we'll do is we'll have a path come through to allow you to enter on that side. Maybe it leads over here. I don't know if anyone's going to build over here. In fact, this is Impulse's base, so maybe there won't be a path going through to anywhere, but it is an option. So let's get started with the build. We have gravel over here. These have been placed in deliberate positions. We are going to build these up, and these are going to be like the support pillars which will blend with the roof, and we are going to have a sloped roof made out of gravel blocks. I know it sounds slightly crazy, but it actually works with this texture, in my opinion. And we're also going to throw in a few other materials as well, which are going to kind of tie in the turtle theme, I guess. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3 with these blocks. Then we'll place a fourth, and this is where we go all the way across to where the other gravel patch is. And what's the very first thing that I do? It's make a mistake. Of course it is. That's supposed to be 1 block further back. And let's grab our Silk Touch shovel. When I've been gathering this gravel, because I have Silk Touch, it means it doesn't break off into flint, which is awesome, because we don't want flint, we want gravel. Right, and now we're going to add a stripe of colour. These are the colours of the turtle, the 2 different shades of terracotta green going from one side to the other. So we go up by 2 from here, and then we place in our gravel like so that it is sloped, and that is the beginning of the roof, can you believe it? Crazy, building a roof out of gravel blocks. Right, now let's hop down here. Let's put a temporary block there. We need some windows here that are going to be 3 wide, and one of these will be the entrance. And I want to mention something about this block in particular. There we go. When you place them next to each other, and if we grab our axe and break it with Silk Touch to get it back, you will see that the texture changes on this side of the block. That is going to happen with this stuff right here. So if ever we mess up when we're building, it means we have to replace the block. Although apparently... oh, it's because it's a different type of mushroom block. Right, so it'll do it with its own type. Yes, there you go. That's messed up now. If we put that there, it's not going to mess up the brown one. Right, so then I would have to go ahead and replace this. So that's something I've got to watch out for. If I accidentally put them in the wrong place, it means I've got to go back and place the other block. For this next part of the build, we've got to use some magic Hermitcraft blocks. Now, what I'm about to craft is, thanks to our data pack, you can get these blocks in creative mode right here, and they are properly supported now, but there isn't a survival recipe, so we've added one. As you can see, when you break it, it gives you that block back, and that used to be like an old hacky block, and then they decided to add it in. Anyway, what you will see over here is that I have started building up the next part of the structure, and we're going to add the part of the building that I'm sort of least fond of, but at the same time I really like what I've tried to do. We're going to start off by having these pillars come up here, and that's to just kind of throw in this texture so we can use it around this build and it will look like it fits in. And then we're going to take the trim that we placed down and we're going to create a weird U shape with it. Now this is where I'm suspecting that many of you won't actually like this, but you know, you can leave a comment and let me know what you think of it. I'd be up for changing this side over here, as I feel like the detail that I put in is a little bit off, but at the same time I do like it. Alright then, so what do you think of that? I kind of like it. It looks a lot better when you can see more of the building around it as well. This thing I think is just too bulky. It's nice having the stripe, but it's just a little bit big. And those textures right there are kind of struggling to blend in. That would be my criticism of this. But I love and adore that gravel right there. That looks so cool and perfect for the industrial area. Now you might have noticed that I've thrown in some andesite as well. I've only done it in the middle column here and I think it really works. Those two textures go together well. However, they're also subject to change. All of the textures are technically subject to change, so we might find ourselves coming back over here in the future when the textures update and taking these out if they no longer blend. Now, obviously, the next thing is that this is going to be the roof, so it's all going to extend backwards. And I just remembered I don't think I actually had a pointy bit on the top. I decided to flatten it off. Now, before we get too far into extending that over, we actually have some more construction to do in this space. Well, my friends, it's been a hard time chopping down mushrooms and building, and I've been enjoying it. And I realised that we can't quite see the building the way that I want to, which is from up in the sky. That's the way that I designed this in creative mode in a little world that I have. And then you don't get to see it in quite the same frame on survival mode. So we're going to wander around here and try and check this out from a couple of different angles. I've kind of created a dark room in there, right? There is not too much more for me to do here. It is far from finished, that's for sure. Actually, I can think of something else we can do. The windows up the top are going to have some really cool details on them. So what we've done here is if we extended like a top floor that actually cuts through the roof, and then on the other side it doesn't cut through the roof. There's like an extension off of the main building that goes out the side here. That gives us tons and tons of space for the turtle farm, which will reside here in the middle. We have a little bit of a problem. We're in one of those biomes where snow settles. But I don't think it's actually that big of a deal, because I was thinking about mob spawning on the roof, right? So eventually we'll probably cover this with, if we put down stone buttons, that'll stop mob spawning. Maybe over here we put down some carpets. So we'll probably be layering this stuff with something to prevent mob spawning, so we don't have to throw down torches. Torches would also get rid of the snow as well. But anyway, let's hop down here, let's break our shins, turn around, and you can't actually see it. If we go down here, it gets kind of worse. Well, anyway, there are some windows up there. Jeez, I'm being attacked by a skeleton off in the distance. Please, sir. Yep, just burned to death. That's amazing. Behind the glass, there is some Achacha trapdoors, and it looks real cool, especially when you're like level with it. From down here, it looks alright as well. Problem is, when we turn around the corner, the space on the corner is occupied by the trapdoors, so you can't have them again there. I think what I might do is just have some different glass up there. But anyway, eventually that space will become like an office in the top area, and down here is where our turtle farms are going to reside. So my original design for this turtle farm was something like so. We were going to have some rails going back and forth underneath sand blocks. We can put the sand blocks directly on top of the rails, and then when a minecart is going back and forth on here, a hopper minecart, it can pick up any items on top of the sand. So in the top area we would then have groups of turtles, we breed them, they grow into adults, they drop the scoots, and we collect them from down below, right? But unfortunately, this means we would have to cull the herd. And I was going to put these into little groups, by the way, so they were sort of close to one another in proximity. So if they were inside a pen that was 3x3, when you breed them, they don't have to travel too far to find their natural home. Problem with this is that I would have to kill turtles. I do not want to kill my turtle brethren. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I want that to be automated. I want my hands clean, even though I'm going to build a contraption to kill them automatically. This is actually something I found on YouTube in like a few different videos. I did a bit of research. I believe Rayworks was the person who actually invented this idea. It's kind of similar to what we were originally going to do, except this time, well, you don't need the rail underneath this, so let's just get rid of that. We could have just pretended it wasn't there. But anyway, you're only going to have a strip like this where your turtles are going to reside. And then you're actually going to put your fence posts around the outside like this. This will contain the turtles. The turtles are larger than a block and they can't fall down that gap there. But the baby turtles, remember, the baby turtles are absolutely teeny tiny. So they are indeed going to fall down that gap and get pushed off by the adults. And when they fall down into this gap, there is going to be a wall on either side. So when they grow into an adult, they will be inside either of these walls. They will take suffocation damage and die, which gets rid of them. But then, of course, what we're going to do is we're going to have a rail in place down here. And this is where we're going to pick up our items from with a hopper minecart. Let's just put some sand on top of that so you can kind of get the perspective, right? Only the baby turtle is going to end up down here. When it pops off an item to create a scoot, it'll land on here, the turtle will die, and we'll pick it up from down below. So we need our track to be a loop, because this is going to be a circle area that the scoots could land inside of. That means we got a little bit of a challenge down here. To any of you that have messed around with rails before, it's probably pretty simple. Yes, there it is right there. So the minecart comes in this direction, it goes underneath these blocks all the way to the end, back down, and when it comes over this rail, it'll just go straight over. Alright, that did not do enough, did it? I literally said that as I was about to start recording. Alright, what are we going to talk about next? And oh, this thing that I made doesn't work. I think we just need to extend the pulse. Anyway, what I was about to say is that the minecart unloader is actually going to be super simple because we don't want this thing to run with any other logic than a clock. You see, the scoots are going to lay on these slabs for about 5 minutes before they despawn. So we've sent this around every 4 minutes. That's probably going to be pretty efficient. It's going to pick everything up, and it means that these minecarts aren't constantly moving. And I mentioned half slabs. Those are slabs down there now, so that means that no mobs will be able to spawn on there. And speaking of mobs, I would like to lay down some eggs, and the eggs are only going to grow at night, so I need to AFK in this area. And some places might need lighting up, but the mobs are going to wander in from outside, so we kind of need to barricade this place and make it safe. Yep, I've literally fortified myself into this area. Every open space has been filled with dirt. Torches have been plastered, and I've put in some colourful windows as well. We're going to be safe in here from phantoms and from other mobs that might come after these turtle eggs, and down there they'll be safe as well, as mobs can't spawn on the slabs and there are no open spaces. So what we're going to do is put, I'm going to say 2 on each. Oh, there is 2 there. For some reason I thought there wasn't. Yeah, we're going to put 2 on each to begin with because we've got 3 of these cells in total, and I think that's going to be a plentiful amount of turtles inside of this area. So now what we need is some nighttime. These are going to have to hatch, then they're going to be babies, which means they would fall into the gap, right? So I kind of need to fill that in to begin with. Now when they grow into babies, they won't be able to escape, which is fantastic. When they grow into adults, they'll be inside of this area, and then we can start breeding. Now this means that I need to do a lot of AFKing and convincing other players to let it stay nighttime so that the turtles can grow. The sun is setting. We are ready for our first night of AFKing, but it'll take many nights, and then the babies will have to grow into adults, then I'll have to start breeding them. The same thing will happen all over again. I wanted to show you results this episode, but now there is like a massive AFK session to be done, and I think I'd rather render the video and put it on YouTube for you. So this is where we're going to wrap up the episode. If you had enjoyed it, then leave a like. As always, thank you for your support, and get excited to see some turtle scoots in the next episode. We are going to be farming them, I'll tell you. This is going to work, I'm sure of it. But anyway, that's it from me this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Hey, a couple of them hatched in the first night. Wonderful.